Stop the jailing. Free the trade unionists.
Stop the jailing. Free the trade unionists. Stop the jailing. Free the trade unionists.
Free the jail trade unionists. And stop the Korean workers.
Free the trade unionists. Stop the jailing. Free the trade unionists. Jailed in Korea. The government, the Park Hae-dae government, is attacking workers, busting unions, and jailing workers who are fighting for their rights. And what we're saying is it's unacceptable. We're saying American workers join with Korean workers today to demand that they be freed and the repression stop. This government is an anti-labor, union-busting government. It represents big business. It represents the billionaires. And we know, like the United States, there are a lot of corrupt billionaires in Korea. Samsung and the Chobol families are corrupt, and they want to destroy union rights so they can make more profit. That's what this is all about. These billionaires in Korea, which are supported by the United States, are attacking union rights. They're jailing trade unionists. They are creating a health and safety problem for truckers by deregulating trucking. The ferry that went down was caused as a result of deregulation. You had temporary workers in that ferry. They were afraid to speak up. They overloaded it, and the government has covered up an investigation about why that incident took place. The owner of that Sewol ferry happened to be a supporter of the government. So we know who this government represents. They represent the crooks, they represent the criminals, they represent the billionaires, and they represent the people who want to destroy workers' rights, human rights in Korea. They are also having to work many long hours, and where their health and safety is threatened. And we're saying stop the jailing.
Free the trade unionists. Stop the jailing. Free the trade unionists. Stop the jailing.
Speaker is Dave Reardon, and Dave is a retired member of Transport Workers Union, Local 100 in San Francisco, 250A rather, in San Francisco, and he's been a fighter for public transit and for workers' rights. Welcome, Dave Reardon.
Thank you for the opportunity to be here. We were just chanting free the South Korean trade unionists, and I think we should also say free South Korea from the grip of U.S. imperialism, and free North Korea from the threat of U.S. imperialism. And it's interesting, we're here in an exclusive section of San Francisco. I'm sure there are many millionaires here, maybe even billionaires. And so the issue facing all workers, of course, is capitalism and imperialism. I am a retired truck driver and a retired bus driver. So I know about trade unions, and I know about being a worker, and I know that the forces of capital and the politicians of San Francisco went out of their way to oppress us and undermine us as workers for the San Francisco Municipal Railway. So I'm here in solidarity with the workers of South Korea. I say free South Korean workers and free South Korea from U.S. imperialism.
This is Ricardo Ortiz, who's an activist, a fighter for the Puerto Rican and U.S. workers movement. So welcome, Ricardo.
Thank you. First of all, we have to denounce and expose the South Korean regime for jailing these workers, and we demand their immediate freedom, free from South Korean jails. The South Korean government is a puppet government of the U.S. It has supported the United States in its imperial adventures, like sending troops to Vietnam during the Vietnam War. The South Korean government sent more than 40,000 soldiers to die at the behest of the American empire. The American imperialists have in South Korea a whole military fortress to threaten the peoples of Asia. The South Korean territory is home to nuclear missiles bases of the U.S. There are more than probably 30,000 troops stationed in South Korea. The U.S. have made a complete colony in the Jeju Island, populated by, and displacing South Korean inhabitants and populated by American troops that are just doing oppression, are helping the South Korean regime, and it's just a base to threaten South Korea and threaten the workers and peasants all throughout Asia. So I want to say, U.S. out of South Korea now, and toward the reunification of South Korea with the workers' government.
U.S. out of South Korea.
U.S. out of South Korea. U.S. out of South Korea. U.S. out of South Korea. U.S. out of South Korea. U.S. out of South Korea.
Stop the militarization now.
Stop the militarization now. Stop the militarization now. Stop the militarization now. Stop the militarization now.
Charlie Minster. Charlie has been a seaman, he's a transportation worker, and was a member of labor's union, and is a fighter for workers and labor rights here and around the world. So welcome, Charles Minster.
Proud to be here. Free President Han of the KCTU and all the KCTU members in prison. This is the second time President Han has been imprisoned by the Korean government for his stout stand against the oppression of this regime over there. This President Park is nothing but a stooge for the Chapuls and the army, just like her father was. Her father, of course, was killed by his own right-hand man in the KCIA. So right now, this government is protecting the Chapuls and the military in they are in an economic crisis. The shipping industry, the shipbuilding industry is declining and collapsing in Korea. And along with shipping, it's been the major economic motor behind the advances in Korea. So they're hurting right now. And of course, Park's job is to suppress the working class in defense of the Chapuls. We need to stand in solidarity with the brothers and sisters who are under attack and have been under attack since Park took over control of that government. And the American trade union movement needs to stand in solidarity, and we need to link up together and have actions that free this trade unionists from the prison. I think they gave the president 5 years. So they're afraid of him. It's pure and simple. They are using this as a means of restricting the movement of the trade unionists around the country. So I'm glad to be here, and we stand in solidarity with all the workers of South Korea and call on the workers of the United States to join in support of them. Thank you.
Workers in the United States face attacks as well. Deregulation was used by this government, whether it's Carter or Clinton or Reagan or Obama, to attack workers. They're privatizing education. They're in the Bay Area, they attacked the BART workers, and 2 scabs were killed as a result of trying to get BART going. So American workers as well, like Korean workers, face union busting, face privatization and outsourcing. And we know that the deregulation in the United States is killing workers and their families. There are many accidents on the roads in the United States that are a direct result of deregulation of truck drivers having to drive 12, 16 hours a day. And when you drive that like they want them to do in Korea, people are going to die. Drivers are going to die, and families are going to die. We say enough is enough. Workers have human rights. We need health and safety. We need an end to the attack on the Korean working class. And also, we support the Korean workers' struggle against Jeju Island, which is going to be a U.S. military base. The United States, which does not have money for free education, which does not have money for health care, is spending billions, trillions on war in Iraq, war around the world. There's 700 bases, including Jeju, which they want to open against the wishes of the people of Jeju. It's a national treasure. It's a beautiful island, and they want to destroy it. Why do they want to destroy it? For another military base. How many bases do we need in this world? I say shut the bases down, bring the troops back, spend that money on working people, spend that money on public transit, spend that money on free education, more housing for people. In San Francisco, there are thousands of homeless who are dying in the streets because there's no money. Shut the bases now. 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 Now this government, the Obama government, says they're for democracy. But we know what democracy means in Puerto Rico when they invaded in 1898, that country. The democracy that they have in Korea is not a real democracy. There are no democratic workers' rights. Workers are kidnapped. They're jailed for expressing their union rights, for expressing the fight against deregulation. So we're uniting here today in San Francisco on October the 12th in solidarity with all workers in Korea and all workers around the world, because we know this struggle of the Korean workers isn't just about the Korean workers, it's about workers in every country of the world. Workers in every country of the world are fighting deregulation, are fighting privatization. And we're saying enough is enough. We need unified action of working people around the world. Solidarity with our brothers and sisters in Korea. Off the Korean workers.
Hands off the Korean workers.
Stop deregulation now.
Stop deregulation now!
Stop deregulation now.
Stop deregulation now!
Hands off the Korean workers.
Hands off the Korean workers!
Hands off the Korean workers.
Hands off the Korean workers!
Hands off the Korean workers.
Hands off the Korean workers!
Solidarity forever.
Solidarity forever!
Free the trade unionists. Stop the jailing.
Free the trade unionists. Stop the jailing. Free the trade unionists. Stop the jailing. Free the trade unionists. Stop the jailing. Free the trade unionists.
Stop deregulation now. Free the trade unionists.